During this current time of crisis, we have seen a huge spike in fraudulent unemployment claims being filed. This shows that many people have personal information like social security numbers exposed on the internet. This week on Talking Real, we take you through a security challenge to help protect you during these times and to make sure that your personal information stays safe well into the future.
So join us as we go through the security challenge live on this episode.
Welcome back to Talking Real, brought to you by the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. You are tuned into episode 119 of Talking Real. Nabil, how's your day?
This is great. We're finally recording in person.
In the studio.
It's weird. I have to get used to all the equipment again.
Yes, we're back in the studio. So we have a little bit of Talking Real trivia before we get started. It's not trivia about Talking Real. It's actually trivia about Phil Collins, well known as being the drummer and lead singer of the band Genesis. And in 1985 released the song that I thought until moments ago used the word studio as part of the lyrics. Nabil had never heard the song before.
I'd never heard it.
Nabil, did you like the song?
I did like the song. It's kind of stuck in my head now.
Yeah, 80s are awesome. So after we record this, we're going to take Nabil on a tour through 1980s pop and rock music so he can see what that's like. But I learned that that is not the word. He is not saying studio. In fact, he's saying sussudio, S-U-S-S-U-D-I-O. Sussudio.
Interesting.
I
thought he was just stuttering over a word.
But it sounded like he's saying studio, right? Yeah, no. So he actually said he just improvised the lyric and he was just playing around trying to create the song and just threw in sussudio. That's what came out of his mouth. He knew he had to go back and change that at some point, but he said that no other word scanned as well as sussudio, and so he couldn't find one, so he just left it as sussudio, which is literally nothing. It's just
nice.
It's just some word, some noise he made up, and has been fooling me for my whole life. Well, since 1985.
You know, if Urban Dictionary was as liberal as it is now, letting words in, that could have been added to the dictionary.
It could have.
He should have just come up with a meaning.
I know. So there you go. A little bit of trivia. Phil Collins is not saying studio in that song. That has nothing to do with anything besides I was kind of blown away because like many people, I've probably been singing studio in my car, jamming out to Phil Collins. Although I do that infrequently. That's what I've been doing. So,
many people?
Yeah. You can tell Nabil and I, we're in a good mood today because we're back in the studio though. And it's exciting. We are cautiously entering back into our office. Anybody that needs to come in, please make an appointment. We are not necessarily just open to the whole world right now, so make an appointment if you do need to come visit us at the Oklahoma Association of Realtors office, or if you want to come jam out to some Phil Collins with us, make an appointment and we'll make it happen. But we hope everyone's doing well. If you are easing some of your social distancing, please, be careful out there, be cautious, and take whatever precautions are necessary and stay well. And today we're actually going to be talking about staying well from a security standpoint. There's been some interesting stuff going on, Nabil.
Yeah, I mean, there's always is, but, this pandemic has, and I think we've touched upon this in the past.
For sure.
In a couple episodes where it's brought on a whole new set of challenges, and this one particularly stemmed from the unemployment claims.
Yes. So we had some kind of weird happen. So here at the office, we've actually, as of today, we got a new one today. We've had 13.
We had a new one today?
We had a new one today. We've had 13 fraudulent unemployment claims filed from people saying, I'm like air quoting here because I'm not sure it's actually people, but that's for another episode. But we've had 13 fraudulent claims of people saying that they were employed here at the association. Look, we only have like 9 employees, so and nobody lost their job during this. So they're all completely fake, people that have never worked here, no connection to the association at all, but we've had 13 claims.
Now, as a side note, Jeff does have a pretty interesting conspiracy theory behind this. So
You want me?
you'll have to catch that offline.
Yeah, you need to go to my Facebook and see that. But it was interesting because I talked to another friend of mine who she works at a state agency and they've got like 50 employees or something. And she said, yeah, we've had like 9 of them. And one of which was actually her name. Somebody had filed an unemployment claim with her name and her social security number. And she's like, it wasn't me. I've still got a job. I'm not unemployed.
Huh.
And then she told me about a friend of hers who is a school district or a school administrator of a school with 60 employees, teachers and staff who are all still getting paid. And they had over 100 fraudulent claims.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I made this Facebook post and I was like, man, this is kind of crazy. Something weird's going on out here. Who else has experienced this? And this is before, I want to say, for the record, before any media were covering this, I was on top of this. And I had dozens of responses of people who either they themselves had been the target of some sort of fraudulent insurance claim where somebody claimed unemployment under their name that they did not do, or their business had been receiving 1 to dozens of fraudulent unemployment claims. And then after I pointed it out, the media has caught wind of it as well. And there've been some stories. So you may have seen this. You probably at this point, it's so rampant. I would be surprised if you don't know somebody who is dealing with this themselves, who's received either, they've received something. Some of these people, like they just opened up their mail and from the Unemployment Commission, there was a debit card for them with unemployment benefits. And they're like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. I didn't sign up for this. What is going on?
Really?
Yeah. So it's not like the money was going somewhere else for some of these people even. It showed up to their inbox, their mailbox with the debit card that they sent out. Wild. Totally wild stuff.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And so again, I've got some personal theories about what's going on here because it's so rampant and widespread. Maybe this is some people out there that are trying to commit fraud in the middle of a crisis, but the why doesn't really matter because maybe you've been targeted or whatever. So if you're one of these people that have find that your name has been used for a fraudulent unemployment claim, there's a couple things you need to do. You need to notify the Oklahoma Employment Securities Commission, and you can actually email them. You can also and should also email or fill out a form with the Attorney General's office, because the Attorney General's office is investigating these things as well, and they've received thousands of notices of these. So again, you can email fraud@oesc.state.ok.us.
It's a lot of dots.
It is. Or just go to the Attorney General's website, oag.ok.gov, and right there on the front page, they've got a coronavirus fraud resources, and it's right up there at the top. They've got the email, they've got the form you can fill out to make sure that you are being protected there by taking those precautions.
Yeah, because, this is not just unemployment claims and benefits being given out, but this, if it's done under your name, it could have a negative impact?
Maybe. I don't know. That's what's crazy, because I don't think it hits your credit report or anything like that. But, I don't know. This is just the craziest thing, right? So you've got some situations, like I had a friend of mine from college. He had an unemployment claim filed under his name, but they had the wrong social security number. So he found out because the Employment Securities Commission sent him a letter that says he was denied because the information was wrong. And he's like, what do you mean I was denied? I didn't fill anything out. I didn't request it. And then some people have received these debit cards in their mail because somebody actually used correct information, and they're just shipping out this unemployment benefits because there's just so many of them that they don't really seem to have time to figure out whether they're correct or not if the information matches up. And then some of them seem to be just using fake information that they're filing these claims.
Interesting. So I'm wondering if they're using someone's correct information and filing for unemployment, they're just overloading the system, right? It's because the fraudsters aren't getting any benefit from it because it's going to the person who they filed for.
Yeah, it seems like it. I've seen some people say that, well, maybe they can call right before it ships out and change the address where they're sending it. But, it's hard to get through to OESC right now because they're so slammed. So right. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but there are thousands and thousands of these fake claims.
And I'm sure some completely fake ones are maybe slipping through the cracks just because there's so much of this. Yeah,
exactly. Maybe that's the idea. So I don't know. Again, I've got theories on it. You can go look at my Facebook post works, and indulge me on that.
It is interesting.
We're not gonna go down that road today, but I think so. Why do I say this? Well, one, be aware of it so that you know what to do if you find your name on one of these deals and you're aware that this has happened to you. So this is what you do. Go to the AG's website, notify them, notify the Employment Securities Commission. Okay, but second of all, because some of these people, again, they're using the correct name, their correct address, their correct social security number, all this information about them that is correct, okay? And that tells you how much of our information has been exposed due to security breaches, right?
Yes.
They have access, they being whoever they are, we don't know, have access to all this information to file these fake claims, like social security numbers, names, addresses, and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And they need to have a lot of information to be able to do that correctly.
Correct. So it's easy enough to go through and file a fake claim with fake information, but to have the real information, we're seeing how much of our information is exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about security, all kinds of things on Talking Real before, but we're going to actually do a security challenge, personal security audit.
Yes.
On the show.
This could go any which way.
Yeah, we don't know because we haven't done these, so we're not sure what this is going to reveal, except that we're pretty certain that we
probably need to make some changes.
Yeah, so we can sit here and talk about the changes that need to be made, but we'll actually go through this because it's a proactive thing to take care of your personal security online and just in general. And because you've already been exposed, right? We know it. If you're a person, you probably have your information out there. A person in America that uses the internet or shops with a credit card, like something has been exposed somewhere.
Yeah.
And so how do you keep tabs on it and how do you make sure you're staying safe?
And it's, not necessarily about not sending any information out. It's about knowing what information is out and maybe curbing that or controlling it so you know what's exposed.
Exactly. So we're going to go through 4 steps today, what we've identified as sort of 4 key steps for at least getting started with this security challenge to see how you're doing and also corrective steps you can take.
And we're going to do this live.
We're going to do this live. We're doing this as we go. So let's do this. We're going to give you the results, and it's going to be funny because they're not as good as we would hope. So step 1, Nabil, you and I, we both use LastPass.
Yeah, and we've talked about this in the past.
There's a number of password keeper kind of options out there that you can use. We personally use LastPass. And one of the features it has is it has a security challenge. So this is where we got the name for today, is security challenge. But they analyze all your passwords, and I've probably got a few hundred different passwords in here, and it will tell you how your passwords are. So first of all, you click on the security challenge and it will give you a score.
My fingers are crossed.
We're loading our security challenge. I've got to enter my master password here.
Oh yes, I have to do that as well.
What is that?
Don't say it out loud.
Give everybody the one password that protects all my other passwords. Okay, so I've got 314 different sites that it's analyzing. This isn't good, Nabil.
I have 167, so you got me beat there.
Okay, this is not good. So what this does is it gives you a security score, and it tells you your standing as it compares to other people with LastPass. I bet yours is better. It's got to be. You go first. What's your security score?
If I was in high school, I would fail.
Well, I'd fail probably harder.
It's 55%.
You got me beat significantly. I'm at 41%.
Oh wow! And okay, so let's preface this by saying this doesn't necessarily mean we are compromised. It's just that these are the flaws that LastPass sees in our accounts.
Right.
Right. It could be a number of things which we'll go through, but that's no reason for us to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I am compromised.
This just means I need to do better.
Yes.
So what's your standing then? Are you like in the top half or the bottom half?
I'm in the top 49%, so top half.
You're just above average.
Yes.
I'm in the bottom 35%, so I'm actually atrocious. I'm actually, as much as we talk about this stuff on here, I'm super embarrassed that we're doing this now.
Maybe we shouldn't have done this.
I know. Okay, so then it gives you 4 steps here to improve.
Well, let's go through the best part.
Oh.
What's your master password score?
Okay, yeah, because you have to have one password to protect LastPass.
Yeah.
All the other ones. I'm 100%.
Me too.
Okay.
Yes.
We've got excellent passwords to protect all our other passwords.
So in theory, we know what to do.
Exactly. Create good passwords. And in fact, LastPass will generate secure passwords for you. It will do the work for you if you let it. Okay, so improve your score. Step 1, change compromised passwords. And this is very interesting because this is saying these passwords are at risk because of known data breaches elsewhere on the web. And it will either give you the site where it'll launch so that you can change that password, or on some of them, it will do it automatically. And I've got 6 of them, which is crazy. Amazon, Twitter, Imager.
Oh, yeah.
Zoho. I don't even know what Zoho is.
These are all really old because I know Amazon had a breach years and years ago.
Yeah, and I haven't changed my password since, probably.
Oh, nice.
So, and then apple.com on one of them.
Yeah.
So this tells you step 1, change your compromised passwords, and it'll tell you which ones are compromised.
Yeah.
And then step 2, we'll see.
So mine was clear.
Oh, you have no compromised passwords.
It wasn't. Well, so I may have done this not recently, but ever since those, like, I know last time I remember it being Dropbox was compromised, but this was back in like 2014.
Okay.
So it's been a while, but I've changed my password since then.
Okay. Sounds good.
So it showed up as nothing.
All right. What about step 2, change weak passwords? What do you have there, Nabil? What does that say?
Apparently my Amazon password is weak.
Mine too.
But this is cool because it's just a one-click update.
Yep.
I can just hit that and it's going to update the password, and I can have LastPass generate the password.
For sure. So this identifies passwords that are easy to guess that leave your account vulnerable to hackers. And again, it will help you change those right there.
Yep.
What's the third step?
The third step, well, actually I said only Amazon. That was a total lie. Amazon's the only one it will change for you.
Right.
There are a myriad of other sites that it shows, like Creative Market and Sticker Mule and Spotify.
People are now trying to get into Nabil's Spotify.
I know, right?
I've got 46 weak passwords that it's identified.
I have... Where do you see this number?
That's at the bottom, the detailed stats.
Oh, 13.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Third step.
Third step is changing reused passwords. And I think this is probably where our score took the biggest hit.
For sure.
Because I have 80.
Yeah, I have 196 duplicate passwords. And so what this tells me is like it'll find those passwords. So I've got 3 sites here that have the same password. And then I've got another 9 sites that use the same password. And then here's another 2. And here's one that's 26 sites with the same password. And I'm going to tell you what some of these are, because this is so stupid that I do this, that I use the same password for everything. Because if it's compromised for one, it's compromised for all. Safeco, where all of my insurance is through, is one of these that is shared with 26 things. Arlo, which is my home security cameras, are on that same password. Bank of Oklahoma, which I don't have that. An old auto loan that I had. Bank First. I mean, and it just goes on that I have a variety of things, both stupid and important, right? Like mint.com, intuit.com for
taxes.
Taxes and stuff. Raymond James, where I had an investment account. Not only that, but I think it's also a weak password. I'm an idiot.
This is exposing a lot that we don't want to. But so, and I always thought my duplicate passwords were themed, right? I was just like, I'll use this for stock something, and I'll use this for something else, and I'll use this for all like the food ordering sites. That's what I thought. But now scrolling through this list, which is a real eye opener. I think this is what I'm going to be doing this evening. Yeah. So I do have those themes for sure. But then there's this one where it says that I've used duplicate passwords from different themes. Let's say that's stock pictures. I'm using the same password on Venmo that has actual money on it. So, I think subconsciously I was like, oh, this is a really good password. Yeah, I'm going to use this because I'm going to remember it. But then I forgot that this is what I was using on all these other places. Right. So this is a really, really good audit. Absolutely. This is fantastic. So, yeah, check that out. Then change old passwords.
This is passwords that haven't been changed in quite some time. And so that can, if they've been exposed, you need to be updating them. And again, LastPass helps you do all this. Okay.
Well, what's your worst one?
My worst one.
What's the one that it says, like, it shows you on top of your one that's the oldest?
Let me see here. Old passwords. Oh. Imager.
Mine is Amazon.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not right. Last changed. I'm sorry. Capital One, which is where my credit card is through, 6 years ago. And then also my personal email address is also 6 years old. So there you go. Okay. Step one, first use a password manager, and 2, do the security challenge and feel really bad about yourself.
Yes. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to change all of these right now.
Okay. Step 2, Nabil, credit monitoring. If you got your passwords in order and you're not using duplicate passwords on most things, and it's, you've got that squared away, you still need to make sure that you're monitoring your credit. And there's lots of services that do that. Again, I just mentioned Capital One that has a 6-year-old password that I've never changed. I get credit monitoring through this. Do you have something that you use?
Yeah, I get credit monitoring through my credit card.
Okay. Well, I have some alerts on this. So this is our second thing, is to see what kind of alerts we have on our credit monitoring.
Let me log in and see what's happening.
Yeah. So I have a couple of things on here, some loan related stuff that it tells you, like, every time. It's like, here's one, social security number tracker alert. And this tracks, again, this one says that there's a new address associated with my social security number from when I moved. That's accurate. That's me. That's a good address. We did that. Here's a new account for a home loan. That's accurate. A variety of things on here that are related to that, but I'm seeing something that's very concerning here. January 21st.
That's not a laughing matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Compromised email address, and it's my personal email. And this is a dark web alert. And this says, credit wise, found your email compromised on the dark web. It scans the dark web daily for your email address and social security number. If we find your information, we send you this alert so you can take action.
That's a very ominous alert.
Yeah. So that's a problem. My email address is floating around in some compromised way out on the dark web. And again,
maybe you're getting some referrals.
Maybe. Yeah, right. And again, this is the email address that I just said I hadn't changed in 6 years. Huh. So yeah, my personal email. And here's much more. Okay, it's like multiple times they found this, right? November 30th. There's multiple alerts. October 20th, compromised email address.
Oh, wow.
That's not good. August 20th, 2018. July 10th, 2018. Okay, so they've found my personal email address compromised somehow all over the dark web. Great. Well, I'm going to change that password as soon as we're done here. But otherwise, I'm in pretty good shape. I recognize everything else aside from my email address being all over the place, but I otherwise recognize it. And this is good because it tells you information about, your credit. So are you monitoring your credit?
You should. Mine has nothing on it because, I don't go to sketchy places like the dark web.
Me neither, but my email address does.
Well, I don't know if all services are a little different.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all mine keeps a track of, but it has in the past informed me whenever I've done a credit check or whenever someone's done an inquiry. And it also tells me about loans and, like, say, the car payments that I've got going on. It gives me a little status on those to make sure that I can see what's outstanding in my name.
Yeah.
So I think that's nice.
For sure. So if you have a credit card, check with your credit card, because a lot of them are offering this service for free now. They'll give you your credit score and alerts, those kinds of things. Otherwise, look into a credit monitoring service. So that's an important step. So step 1, password security, using a password keeper and having good passwords, using its tools to analyze that. Second, credit monitoring service of some kind.
Right.
Third, let's go to social media, Nabil.
Oh boy, this is the dangerous part.
Yeah. So we've all heard stories of things being compromised on Facebook, right? Like, that's no secret to anybody.
Yep.
And Facebook has actually added a lot of good tools to kind of open up some of this information so you can see what, your Facebook account is being used to log into, because you can use Facebook to log into a lot of different things. It'll tell you what information you're sharing with them, and it'll allow you to turn some of those off, which is really good.
And it'll help you track what apps inside of Facebook that you've given access to your information. Correct. And what information they have access to.
Exactly. So we're going to go into our settings, and if you're following along with us at home, there is a tool for apps and websites. And this one tells you the apps and websites that you've used Facebook to log into, and they can receive information that you have shared with them. Some of them expire though. So I've only got 4 active right now, which is good. I've got 90. Oh, wow. That's good. I've got 92 expired.
Oh, wow.
And I've got, I don't know, the removed is taking too long to even load.
Oh, wow.
So active. Let's take an example. Let's just see I've got 4 active ones. One is DoorDash to have food delivered. And if you click on this, it says that I activated that November 24th of 2019. And I am sharing my name and profile picture. And I am also sharing my email address with them. This gives me the opportunity to turn that off on my email address so I can still log in and not share my email address. But right now it shows I am sharing my email address.
Yeah. And this is when you used Facebook to log into DoorDash because you don't want to create another account.
Correct.
Right.
And then it tells me who can see this. Right now it's only me, so people on my Facebook can't tell that I'm using that. But nevertheless, I'm giving DoorDash my name, profile picture, and email address. And then let's look at another one here. Flipboard. Okay, so Flipboard is just like a news browsing app, This one's actually, fortunately, this is expired, but I have shared my name and profile picture, my friends list, my photos, my page likes, and my email address with Flipboard.
Here, Flipboard, here's my life.
I don't know why they need my page likes and my photos, but they have that.
Yeah.
So this is the second thing you need to do, because you have a lot of information on Facebook if you use it. You've put so much information out there, and you need to see what you are sharing with these apps. Ones that you've already logged into that are expired or removed, you can't remove the information that they've already had. Like, you've already given it to them, they've got it, but you can stop them from using it in the future. So, for example, DoorDash here, I'm going to turn off sharing my email address so they can stop sending me spam email and sharing that. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of these apps will try to take as much as they can get, but they don't need all of that to function.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of people fall into the misconception of, if I don't give it permission, then I can't use it.
Right.
But that's not true. A lot of them, if they absolutely need some information, you don't have an option of turning that off.
Right.
But if you have an option of turning that off, you can probably turn it off and still use the app perfectly fine.
Absolutely. So again, this is just Facebook. Check your apps and websites, see what kind of information you're giving out to the rest of the world through Facebook, on top of just going through all your security settings for Facebook and seeing what else you're sharing out there. But this at least tells you what you've used that to connect to and how much information you're giving out, because you may not realize how much information you're giving out. So go check that out. You may still have some in there that you don't realize you're using, and you'd prefer not to have that information being connected. So check out your social media and see what kind of things you're giving up there.
And sometimes it just gives you a little treasure trove of, what the heck was that?
Yeah.
Like mine, I have one under my expired. I only had 12 expired. So apparently I've been pretty stringent about clicking login through Facebook or giving apps permission to access my Facebook account.
Yeah.
But pay with a tweet? Well, I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
And that was apparently recent. It was 2018.
Huh.
So I wonder if there was some sort of misclick or a compromise that happened there. But it only got access to my name, so nah.
Good. So check that out. And while we're talking about Facebook and passwords, you've seen these things going around, and it's this.
Oh gosh.
I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do this one, and it has all these random questions about you. Look, these are asking things like, what's your pet's name? What street did you grow up on? Who was your best friend when you were a kid? Do these questions sound familiar? How about this one? What is your mother's maiden name? Right? They don't ask you that.
What was the make of your first car?
Right. They're asking you all these questions that you're now putting out there in a public forum. All of the most common security questions that websites use, aside from what's my mother's maiden name, because that's so obvious. But it's all these other questions that people use for security questions if they want to reset a password. Don't do those.
Yeah, don't. I mean, you see those if someone's done them in your story, you look at it if you want, but don't copy paste it and do it in yours.
Yeah. Highly recommend not putting all that information that are security questions out there. You maybe didn't realize that. It seems like a little fun and games. But
it's packaged as a getting to know you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you've got 500 friends, you just exposed 500 friends to your most common security question answers. So be very careful about that, please. Yeah. All right. So the last thing, step number 4, we want to talk about is making sure that your mobile apps are up to date. And so I'm going to jump on my iPad here real quick and see what apps are not up to date. Because, you look at this and it's like, well, what does that matter? Well, you give a lot of information to a lot of apps. And a lot of times these updates are security updates and bug fixes that can create vulnerability. So I have 16 apps that are currently not up to date. And if I look at what they want to update, Microsoft Excel, bug fixes, Capital One, defect fixes. I don't even know what that means, but they want to fix defect fixes. Some of them are just doing upgrades, but then again, some of them are bug fixes and improvements, for example, on an investment account app that I have. So a lot of things there. And this gives you an opportunity to do 2 things. One, update it to make sure that everything is secure so that they fix vulnerabilities. And second of all, it gives you the opportunity to look at all your apps and realize, do I still want that? And maybe I should just delete that, because if it's potentially collecting data from you and sending that to who knows where, you may not want that to happen. So remove old apps that you don't want and just delete them, because they still could have access to a lot of your information.
Yes, there's plenty of times where I've logged on and I'm like, why do I even have this app? So while you were doing that on your iPad, I was doing this on my phone. I have 7 apps that are pending, and one of them is LastPass, so I should probably update that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a never-ending struggle to say secure, Nabil.
I just clicked update, and it's doing it now.
So here's what I would say. Nabil and I haven't necessarily failed the security challenge, but we haven't passed it with flying colors either. We have a lot that we can do, and I know that you do too, because we all do. We all do a little bit better. And we're in a time right now where there is rampant fraud running around on unemployment and any number of other things that people are willing to do to compromise your information, your financial status. And if you've been down that road of identity theft, it is a nightmare. And it can be not bad for some people. I had a bank account compromised once. They took basically all the money in there, which wasn't a lot at the time. And I had no money, and it took a couple of weeks to get money put back in there. That was unfortunate and a hassle, but got it squared away. Some people have had like long-term credit issues and everything else because of identity theft. And step 1 to correcting or preventing some of these is to take our security challenge here. Again, get a password manager, do the challenge, make sure that all your passwords are safe, get a credit monitoring service and make sure you're using it so that you can correct something as soon as it happens if it's a problem. Check your social media, see what you're sharing information out on social media behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know about. Make sure your apps are up to date, right? If you do those 4 things, you're on a pretty good track. And there's a million other things you can do, but at least start with those. We just went through it in, I don't know, it's been a little while. We've been talking a while here, but half an hour.
It's been about 30 minutes.
Yeah, half an hour, you can get quite a bit of this done. So make sure you do that and join us on our security challenge.
And a little note, it's going to be really hard to maintain that 100% on a security challenge. So say we went through, fixed everything, 2 weeks later we do this again, it's going to find something else that was outdated or something. So let's not get carried away with getting 100%, but I think this is a good exercise to do every so often, just to make sure that you are staying secure and there's no flaws that have been found.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So like I said, we've been talking a while here, but we thought this was some important information with some of the fraud stuff we've seen going on. We wanted to put this out there to help everybody protect themselves a little bit better. So take the security challenge and email us if you have any questions, which you can do at podcast@okrealtors.com. Or if you have something else that you think needs to be a part of the security challenge, let us know, and we'll kind of inform everybody of here's some other good ideas you can do in taking the security challenge.
For sure. And if you haven't done so yet, share this podcast with a friend and a fellow realtor to help them secure themselves as well. And instead of sharing the Facebook challenges of giving away your information, share this as a security challenge.
There you go. I love it. So thank you so much for joining us back in the Talking Real studio. We hope you're staying safe out there. And until next time, we'll see you next Tuesday on Talking Real.